The Wealthy Life is brought to you by investment dealer Raymond James. Life well planned. See what a Raymond James advisor can do for you.
We're back, and with us today is Tanya Sterling, an expert on elder care. Now, Tanya, when I look at you and I see how young you are, I wonder, how are you an expert on elder care? You must have a story. How did you get involved?
Actually, Sybil, I got involved when I was about 7. That's where the catalyst started to set me on a mission to try to help people. And basically it started with Reggie. And Reggie was an 80-year-old, late 80-year-old gentleman who used to be in my life. And we used to go for tea with him. My mother and I used to go for tea with him. And he was a fragile, gentle soul, very lovely man that served his country. And he just shared so many stories with us. And in our time that we spent with him, he began to need further assistance, and he answered an ad in the paper. Now, this ad had basically said that they would care for somebody that needs some assistance, and so he went there trusting these people.
So he just moved in with some strangers because he needed help. And he thought they were good people.
Kind of like room and board, but
Wow.
with an extra addition that they would help as well and prepare his meals. So what ended up happening with this family was that they coerced him to sign over his power of attorney and his will. And I later found out when I was a bit older that he was actually subjected to emotional, financial, and physical abuse. And the story for Reggie didn't turn out too well.
Oh my gosh, I couldn't even imagine. And what about you and your mom? Had you lost touch with him over that time period?
My mom actually tried to get involved, and she tried to intervene, and she tried to help him, but she didn't know what to do, and she didn't have the resources
devastating.
to step up.
And I don't think anybody would want that to happen to any family member.
No.
So what exactly is elder care?
Yeah, well, within the chartered professional accountant realm, there was a specialization called elder care. And there was a task force to bring professionals together and accountants to try to bring together this service that could help people as we transition through aging and past retirement. So the name transitioned over to Prime Plus because elder care wasn't quite hitting, the tone that we were looking for.
Got to make it sound a little better. Prime Plus.
Prime Plus. And so that consisted of, assisting people through the aging process in terms of retirement planning, living arrangements, as well as bill paying, and basically acting as a family member throughout the process and helping to kind of fill in the gaps for people to be able to manage their financial affairs and, their life as we grow older.
So you are an accountant, as well as you've had this specialized training in the elder care services, Prime Plus.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
And so is that the nuts and bolts of your business? Is this your core offering for clients, or is this one piece of it?
This is one piece of it. So many of our services involve coaching, guiding, and assisting people through financial transitions, and one segment of that is the elder care, which is a piece that's very close to my heart.
So who would you say hires you more often? Is it the kids of aging parents, or is it the aging parent themselves?
I would say typically in the past it's been the kids of aging parents. Because of this phenomenon we have going on where now people are sort of in the middle between caring for their parents, their grandparents, as well as their children and their grandchildren, people are overwhelmed. They don't necessarily have all of the time that they need to be able to do everything that they need to try to fit in. And so they'll often turn to us for guidance in terms of what to do, and also as a resource. So we'll coach them through what they need to do, but also help them bring that forward and take care of those pieces on a monthly, bi-monthly, or yearly basis, depending on what the needs are.
Are you seeing a lot of feelings of guilt from the clients that come who maybe feel like they should be doing more for their parents, but they've got their own family to take care of? What does that look like?
Yeah, absolutely. There definitely is a piece of that. But like anything, both for the people that come forward that are looking for the assistance themselves, maybe they're anticipating some diminished capacity, or maybe they just want to step ahead of the game and say, I want to create my future based on what my needs are and not what somebody else's needs are. And basically, I do see that guilt component on both sides, because people now, they feel that they can do everything and they should have to do everything, but it's not the case. case. There's resources out there that can help. And so when somebody finally, makes that decision to say, I'm going to find out what the options are, and they move forward and they speak to somebody about those options, then it could just relieve so much of the pressure.
Oh, I think we just live in a world today where we're expected to do everything and so much and be perfect, and it's impossible. We can't do it all, and we're just burning ourselves out, and then we're not good to anybody else. Exactly. So this service sounds phenomenal. Walk me through the process. So if someone comes to you and says, look, my parents are aging, what does that look like? What services do you offer? Is there a plan that's put in place?
Absolutely. What we'll do is we'll sit down with someone and look at specifically what their circumstances are. How open is mom to getting some help, or dad, right? And oftentimes that's often the case too, is there's one person that's always handled the finances and the other has not. So then what happens to that other person, right, if the person who's handled the finances is no longer there? So we kind of look at what the situation is and see how we can fit into at first support. So I'm using my hands like this a lot because
yes.
At first it's supporting, right? Supporting the independent. So we can say initially maybe we can come in and start by preparing taxes to start to kind of, develop that relationship and trust. And then we can say, well, maybe we can help by getting this mail that you don't want or that you're not really understanding what it is, and we can help you sort through that. And then we can help paying with the bills. And then ever so slowly, right, assisting in areas where everybody feels comfortable. And then we can create it so that it's running very smoothly, and then if and when the family member is wanting to get back involved, or even if they do want to get involved in little bits and pieces, we can orchestrate it so that everybody's working together to a situation where everybody's feeling comfortable.
And how about things like care needs and house cleaning services and landscaping? Do you help coordinate all of those?
Yes, absolutely.
So you must have a team of professionals that you can reach out to where needed that can
yes.
take on those certain roles. How much does it cost to set this service up?
Well, our range is on an hourly basis. So we have people that we charge at a lowerly hourly level, so at about $45 up to a higher rate at about $200. So it really just depends on what level of service is needed, and we try as much as possible to coach people so that they can do it themselves, and then we kind of fill in those holes as needed.
That's great, and by the hour then they're only paying for the service that they're getting. Well, this is great. I didn't even know this service really existed. Where do people go to find out about the service? Like, is it on the, do they just Google Elder Care or Prime Plus?
Yeah, they can absolutely do that. There are still some practitioners out there that are practicing in this area. They've disbanded the task force through the CPA, the Chartered Professional Accountants, but there are still some people that are passionate about continuing it.
And they can always call you, Tanya.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for being on the show. That was really informative. And when we return, find out which is better, an RRSP or a tax-free savings account.